welcome to another episode of the Vault of Doom podcast. Episode 42 features Metal Hammer UK's October 2024 issue. The digital copy that we'll be going over today features bands and festivals. I also have this episode loaded up with Artist Spotlight, doing an album review, and just a couple tracks from a couple artists, with the birthdays of some upcoming birthdays of some albums, and the story that I have behind one of the albums mentioned on here. I've also mixed together a new track today, and we'll be featuring it on this episode. So gear up, metalheads. Let's check out Metal Hammer UK, October 2024. Let's go! On with it, on with it! Fucking crazy. Table of contents.
Metal music. Metal podcast.
This is gonna be a big ass Slipknot coverage episode, and the pleasant, delightful, what should be a pleasant, delightful surprise of having Ozzy
and constant chaos.
It's the Prince of Darkness.
Prayer is the best way to know God.
And his article
not
should be
listening to
supremely enlightening. Let's start with Bloodstock.
Podcast is the quickest, but there is no God.
And all these words being crunched down into a summarized format from me, with the opening lines read, Bloodstock has always been a spiritual lodestone for heavy metal in the UK. $20,000 metalheads are still streaming into Catton Park as Nervosa, death metal band Nervosa, deal out their piercing death thrash with guitarist Prick Amaro firmly grasping her new frontwoman role, bringing a powerful Hadfieldian presence. And that's delightful as well. Speaking of delights, see how many women are fronting new bands, joining old bands, and getting themselves acquainted with the culture. So now we have a few more bands here listed. Green Lung, puts the band on ascent with the slowest circle pit ever, to a sing-along song called Witch Queen, Maxine Witch Queen. Grand Magus generating an insane amount of bombast for a three-piece. So the Swedes raise old school spirits with these tracks going down storm. Rotting Christ, that just put out their Pro Christo album, that got highly good reviews from this magazine and various other videos that I didn't watch, but had the AI that YouTube does for suggested videos do its autoplay. I have my YouTube on autoplay, so it just plays the stuff on suggested videos, and I can read the subtitles, and it says that a lot of people are showing some positive review for that Pro Christo by Rotting Christ. And that's what it says about them, that Rotting Christ makes the most of their promotion to the main stage, focusing on 2013's Kata Dan Daemona E2. The Greek veterans are a rabid, imperious, and mesmerizing force. Very well and accurately just said, as they have, as I said, the album got very highly regarded reviews. Not the album mentioned here, as it appears they did an older album than the most recent. I could see that being the case from how good they did on the last album, that they would kind of take the attention off of it for a little while and focus on some of the older tracks. They are, in fact, veterans. They definitely have been in the industry for quite a while. Frontman, continuing reading the paragraph, frontman Sakis Tolis is really enjoying himself despite being trapped in leather trousers at the height of summer. Enslaved, current record, Hemdahl, is a bit too weird for the sunny setting. Congelia combo of blast beats and psychedelic droning visibility confuses punters looking to start a circle pit, but it's closing havenless brings Vikings back in force. That's very common for me. I rock the same attire during the same weather. So hearing everybody constantly comment on me looks like something about that. Looks like something that people are going to constantly comment on, even in this issue of Metal Hammer magazine UK. Clutch are almost embarrassingly brilliant today, from the rowdy tongue twisting sing-along of X-Ray Visions to a dizzying stream of early classics. The world's grooviest band are irresistible. Opeth have such an immaculate catalog that hearing their most obvious songs again is still glorious, as Michael Akerfeld is on great sardonic form. At one point he seems more interested in discussing Leonard Skinner than playing music, as he has been seen on the Bloodstock and Wacken sets that I've seen on YouTube, having a very heavy side banter presence. But when Opeth do play, they sound magnificent, and everything from the Grand Conjuration to Deliverance albums unfolds like a gift from the ancient gods. You would be, as a side note, really decent off reading this yourself if you do, and I want to hear your feedback in the comments. So make sure you drop those comments below and let me know what you thought of these articles that I'm going to cover here. Crypta front woman is a fucking badass, and her band will smash your face in. That's the main thing that can be drawn from the Brazilian Saturday main stage Triumph, which is as filthy and vicious as anything seen at Bloodstock in recent memory. Old school death metal served with a mischievous grin. In contrast, Mimi Bark's Doom Trap would never have been here 10 years ago, but sometimes metalheads just want a big, daft rave. Her barbaric rap screams atop eerie industrial beats offer just that to a rowdy Sophie Lancaster 10. Deicide was there. Malevolence was there. Amon Amarth, Carcass, Night Flight Orchestra, Power Metal, Beast in Black, Power Metal, Architects. Let's see what Architects had did it here at this Bloodstock 2024. They have become accustomed to being big time. Seems like they do this in their sleep. And so that's Architects. Deicide playing a few hits. Sac vs. Suicide getting a deafening roar of recognition. Third appearance in 4 years. Fuck the sunshine. We want songs about Satan. Malevolence and their death metal stylings was a headliner. Carcass delivered psychotic zeal that can't be faked. And tracks like Kelly's Meat Emporium is a knife to the jugular. Genital Grinder, Pure Filth. And Corporal Jigsaw, Quandary is greeted like death metal's Bohemian Rhapsody. Carcass still rule. Finally, in this article, Amon Amarth's return as headliners find them as beloved as a band here could be, and they're molded one of the slickest pieces of heavy metal theater. LARPing, Viking battlers, the ever-growing rowing pits, Johan fighting a big fuck-off serpent. It's all here. And they support some of the finest melodies penned in this genre this century. Finally, Satyricon, black metal legends aren't the obvious choice for Last Sunday Boogie, but a set list weighted on corpse-painted rock club bangers like Now, Diabolical, and Fuel for Hatred. Some shows black metal and Bloodstock as a whole does know how to party. That's a huge fucking set list right there. Beast in Black caption right here. Beast in Black proved the future is bright for power metal. The Nuclear Blast band Beast in Black. Quick trip down not so memorable lane. Maybe you've seen some of the earlier episodes where I happen to be voicing a lot of my opinion on stuff, and I'm pretty grateful and thankful for myself here for improving upon that, so I have to pat myself on the back a little bit. So Amon Amarth, we're being referred to here as Sweden's gods of Ragnarok and roll. As you can see here on this stage, that these guys doing it real big here at Bloodstock. Anyway, I mustn't dally. There are a few other live shows here that I want to get into. Before I do so, I want to read these captions on the pictures. Like Opeth are on fantastic form. There's Michael jamming out to his, I believe ESP. I'm not sure. Michael doesn't have social media, so he's not very in tune with that world like some of the other bands are, and that's perfectly fine. It's good to know and contrast these things, though, and say, you know, hey, some of these bands are heavy in the social media, some are not. I couldn't see Michael being that kind of person anyway, but Clutch, Born to Boogie. Enslaved combine the astral and the ancestral. Their album Hemdall was very prog. Wasn't what I was expecting. I had the expectation when listening to Hemdall was very prog. It was reviewed by this or Guitar World and kind of accompanying a professional publication album review with how I feel about it, combined with reflecting on that later. This is really a magical experience for me. So thank you guys for being here, checking out the show. And let me read these last few captions. Cryptas, Fernanda Lira, badass to the bone. I think that covers all the captions in these pictures here for this article as we mosey on down along through to the next. Korn, Spirit Box, Wargasm, and Loathe. Here at Gunnersbury Park, London, the Bakersfield Freaks smashed their biggest ever UK headliner. This is gonna be a great article to read right here for sure. I'm stoked about this. In fact, let me take a second to catch my breath. In 1999, Korn played their UK headlining show at the now defunct Astoria 2 in London. Since then, they become not just the godfathers of nu metal, but one of the most important and legendary metal bands of all time. Something they'll celebrate with the 30-year anniversary show at LA's BMO Stadium in October. But their wait to headline a massive outdoor show festival here has been so lengthy you could be forgiven for thinking that it might never happen. A strong supporting cast helps to pull off a memorable event, and Korn have done their best to curate one. Unfortunately, Floridian hip-hop superstar Denzel Curry pulls out on the day, something many metalers are fine with, but this inclusion here would surely have improved the undercard. Looks like I don't understand what they're saying there, but Denzel Curry is a Floridian hip-hop superstar at a metal show, so that doesn't surprise me one bit. I mean, that's a normal occurrence. That's totally a normal occurrence, normal thing nowadays. So, with that being the one and only part on this article that I want to stick around for, conclude that by simply saying that was a very pleasant surprise. And there we have JD himself and his signature motherfucking microphone stand with the naked woman, pointy nipples, tongue sticking out. Hell yeah. And a protractor looking thing. But what is it really though? It's not a protractor. That'd be the lamest thing ever. Is it like aliens? Alien? This is the classic sci-fi horror film? I don't know. But the caption reads, Korn, Jonathan Davis unlocks another achievement in the UK. Fuck yeah, he does. As well as looking good, man. It's looking good. Next up here. Another festival. The ARCTANGENT Festival of 2024 features article for this such festival features a photograph of Imperial Triumphant that reads that they are still making music liberties. The New York experimental black metal band, New York City experimental black metal band Imperial Triumphant are still taking musical liberties. And we could brush through this a little bit here. Check out the set of Meshuggah that has this is a head spinning set list right here. I mean, they first of all are extremely technical and difficult songs, are known for having difficult songs to play that span over 8 minutes on average, and then it's this many in number. I don't even want to count them all. I just would rather check and take a look at which ones I know of, because looks like these are from the Abysmal Eye, and then Bleed and Demiurge being from Obzen, and fucking A, what a set list. When these videos show up on my suggested YouTube, the amount of time is not something everybody has a luxury of sitting and watching an entire set anymore. So myself technically excluded. I make the time and watch the sets, but bringing to you the minimalist, objective viewpoint of mine as I possibly can, and then just the deets, just the facts, just the fact sheet for you, and as well as for me, is obviously watching the last Meshuggah set list that I watched was killer, and they're just extremely about as heavy as it fucking gets. Meshuggah, like, literally is just about as heavy as it fucking gets, next to a few of the other legends, and it's small wonder why they're legendary. Moving on then to a few of these that I want to picking through at as I read the first paragraph. Celebrating its 10th edition, ARCTANGENT has developed from a cult curio to both an essential part of the UK's festival season and the definitive guide to the underground's ever-expanding state-of-the-art. Now, all of these artists that I do not know will be simply listed off, unless something that comes to mind appears interesting to me. Julie Christmas, Conan, Baroness, Calandra, Amenra, Explosions in the Sky, The Sun's Journey Through the Night, Isan, Sing, Sig, Animals as Leaders, Blood Command, Meshuggah, Imperial Triumphant, Pidge, and So I Watch You From Afar. Electric Wizard wraps up all the bands that they're listed, at least they're listed here. And so I'll read Imperial Triumphants and Meshuggahs, or at least brush through them very briefly, as this episode does have some few extra tidbits that I've added in to get to those. You can always fast forward past the 45-minute marker and check and see if there's anything good there, and if there isn't, you can fast forward past the 1 hour and 10-minute marker before you reach just fast forward past the 90-minute marker, and then you'll find the stuff that is not this magazine. Now, Meshuggah themselves returned to Fernhill Farm for the first time in 5 years, and that's time's done. Nothing to dull their precision and impact. From the moment anonymous broken cog drops into the full pelt gent and rational full pelt gent of rational gaze, the attendees either rattle their heads to the ingenious polyrhythms of drummer Thomas Hakey or they stand completely still, awed by the technical accuracy and famously dazzling light show. The theatricality reaches a crescendo during final demiurge. Its breakdowns made even more destructive by the blinding white light that bursts forth with each one. See, with stuff like that, with that kind of imagery, I cannot brush through. I have to read the whole thing, as it sets the scene for what I would have otherwise been unable to describe about a Meshuggah set, about a live Meshuggah performance. Two years ago, Imperial Triumphant were sullied with the horrific mix at ARCTANGENT. Such isn't the case today. Their mental jazz metal gets to disorient at full power. After playing, that's the next band after that. So they're being categorized here as jazz metal, and then experimental black metal in different Instagram posts on the official Imperial Triumphant Instagram account, or possibly even their X, but most likely just Instagram. So here's the photographs and the captions to match. There's animals as leaders. There's Julie Christmas looking quite psychotic in this photo. And we have here Meshuggah making a return visitation to ARCTANGENT. And these Swedish gent metal legends having the imagery painted in that photograph of the famous light show, and this guy's vocals busting your brain into tiny little pieces. Exodus, thrash metal, all ages, bending, experience, bonding, all ages bonding experience. That's next article. This goth frontman talks the Ramones, his past as a little metal shithead, and German techno sensations Scooter. I love Scooter. Their lyrics don't make sense. I don't know, with this badass cat and the inverted pentagram, I mean, that's just so fucking cool. I don't know how I could not be just like broadcasting this, broadcasting from the loft of Vault of Doom to you right now, like this, with this and these, this thing and this cool thing, to get the segue on over here to the next chapters of the show. This advertisement for Nightwish's Yesterwind, new album Yesterwind, accompanied with my suggestion that you follow them on X and Twitter so they'll get to interact with you, as a lot of these artists interact frequently with their fans through these social media sites. And Thomas spoke on the album, a very direct and important message that he wants his fans to know. So go ahead, mosey on down to the Nightwish official with the check mark, not any of the fake accounts. Well, this advertisement has almost been skipped over, but it just looks like another album from someone. I swear I think I've heard this album before, but what a really cool piece of art. It's got skulls, tentacles, and eyeballs of the octopus, you know, and the colors, and then the feel and texture of the lighting filter. Sort of has a like not overbearing brightness, excuse me, not a non-overbearing brightness to it. And then whoever put the filters and editing for this photo made sure that it's pretty easy on the eyes. There might even be a flower in there, but I'm pretty sure it's not. It's just a octopus. No, wait, yeah, there is a flower. Yeah, it's like a skull and a whole skeleton with some flowers, matching colors, and an owl. It is just this badass owl right in the dead center of the thing, and at the top, kind of coaxing you along to something more grand and mysterious than your small little bubble of the world that you live in. Well, advertisement after this, I probably will pass over that one, but it looks like I actually hit the end of the issue, so I'll have to backtrack and get down to the nitty-gritty. Let's get on down to artists that are actually mentioned in the show notes here, like the large Slipknot catalog here, some Ozzy, some Heriot, Hurlo, Devoured by the Mouth of Hell, I mean, there's a bunch in here. So Opeth, Kimi, some Japanese metal. So let's crack into this one and get into it, and grab onto your seat and your tidy whities. Let's grind it out, ground it out, pound it out. For Wacken, we saw Amarth, for Bloodstock we saw Amarth. Here for Wacken, we have Amarth as well. As I've seen there, Wacken sets are killer. And in watching the video and spending the time to watch the video of the set is also different as well than some of the other podcasters on my level of where I'm at with podcasting. That might be just, I know that Amarth was at Wacken, but I didn't watch the Amarth set. Well, I'm gonna let you know right now, spoiler alert, I did not watch any of the Amarth sets that this is gonna be written, and that's written about in this article. But the articles really are going to help me get a little bit well acquainted for when I do. And the sets that I did watch recently should have some sort of review up after the madness that is International Podcast Day approaching. I mean, it's bananas. I guess a UFO and a person touching lightning before forming themselves into Machine Head, Gojira, and more is how this author decided to describe Wacken 2024. But the Amarth headline set was a stunning show, they wrote, that included a specialty-made movie featuring the Wasteland Warriors, of course, and an army of drones in the sky. Wacken's claim on the title of world's biggest heavy metal festival and the Wasteland is just one of the special themed areas that add in an extra sense of immersion to the event. Doesn't mean they can relax when they're assembling massive lineups still. Ooh, well, I'm pretty sure they're not going to write much about the beer, so, you know, you would consider me, I know what you're thinking, but you might be considering me on my level of doing this, but I have to do my part and pull in my weight and do my half of the work and seek out what I'm looking for, because I want to know about the beer. I'm Mickey GemInEye. This is you're watching the Vault of Doom podcast. The episode after this, the beer episode, would be like prime example a little bit of why reading about these shows, I'd want to seek out some videos of people that were there and then what they had to say about the beer selections. Of course, as a side note, I wouldn't make, you know, too big of a deal out of it, as there's really a lot to see here with this guy's hair, the face paint, the costumes. I mean, this is Wasteland, the movie Wasteland reenactment kind of sort of thing. I mean, that's just crazy. And back to the Prince of Darkness, reminding me that we have a few other articles before we reach Ozzy. I want to broach on this topic a bit, that Trivium's the American Grammy-nominated metal band that can't wait to get back into Catton Park. And this Catton Park UK festival, this Catton Park UK show, is Bloodstock. That's 2025, running from August 7th to August 10th at Catton Park in Derbyshire. Bloodstock 2025. Tickets on sale now. Trivium's gonna be there. Gojira's gonna be there. And the thing that surprised me about reading what Matt Heafy of Trivium said, this will be the biggest and best Trivium set you have ever seen, is so surprising to me, considering how gigantically huge that the Poison Ascendancy tour was, and that the Poison Ascendancy tour 2024 being in its completion has been finished, that the tickets, the big hype and big ticket sales for 2025 of Poison Ascendancy already being hyped up. So, like, a part of me just says, like, hey, you know, it's like, I don't know why, so I have to read, and then maybe I will know why. After this brief break from the sponsors, this short break from the sponsors. Vault of Doom podcast is brought to you by me and the content that I put out in large amounts. Check out all the shorts on the official Mickey GemInEye YouTube channel. Check out all of the new music on the Pitiful Spawn YouTube channel. I just released Mountains Have a Grudge, an experimental black metal with so much synth you will be in a trance. Before that, releasing Barbados was a hell of a task, and submitting it to the places wherever it needs to go is my next task. Other music available on there is a new music video made with AI. I know that I say that this channel does not make use of AI, but I have to go ahead and go run back over there and correct everything, as I often do. Running here, running back and forth, and up and down everywhere, correcting everything. So I'm going to fix that pretty soon, but you can check out those music videos. Now let's get into this Bloodstock 2024 being over. Long live Bloodstock. Cheers to that. Whatever you're drinking. But I'm drinking some sort of caffeinated beverage. Including a UK First Festival headline spot from Architects. The Derbyshire event continued to show how it has become an invaluable part of the international metal community. I'm going to have to read this the way that I want to read it is it seems to be 2 pages. Not 1 page, but 2 pages. 1 page or 2 pages will be a sufficient amount of words and verbiage and vocabulary to cover Bloodstock 2024. But where will Bloodstock go now? Next year marks 20 years since it has expanded to become a multi-day open air celebration of all things heavy metal. Whoa, I love the freaking seeing those sets on the open air and like how they call it open air, and it's like creating the imagery for me like, hey, it's like a breath of fresh air or something. Thankfully, they not disappointed. Ahead of this year's Opeth headline set on August 9th, Bloodstock teased the first 19 bands booked for 2025, including all 3 headliners, metalcore mavens. I knew they were metalcore. I wanted to call them metalcore. Ha ha! I say, those metalcore, those dang genre categorizations, those pesky genre categorization fairies that twist and turn at my mind when I'm trying to just say metalcore, and I literally have to walk on eggshells defining a genre, because it matters. It does matter when you define a genre inaccurately. You don't want to be misled. You do not want to find some kind of Madonna album under extreme metal, new extreme metal albums playlist featuring the latest Madonna smash hit. But Metalcore Maven's Trivium, let's read about Trivium. Metalcore Maven's Trivium, Groove Metal Legends Machine Head, and Extreme Metal Experimentalists, Gojira. And then I could see that a little bit. I could see kind of how that might be one of the things that might be in like how in the actual definition of experimental, that like there's some things a little bit askew, offset, off kilter, what have you. Gojira will all take top billing at Bloodstock Open Air 2025. And if the response from the crowd in the field is anything to go by, with fans literally leaping and screaming with joy for each one, it's going to be big. They also announced 16 bands for the next year's undercard, and those include some more bands that everybody knows, including Static X. Wow, an obituary death metal, melodic, mellow death metal band of legends. Mellow death metal veterans obituary. Gonna be there as well. Where that quote came from Matt is gonna be this paragraph, so I'll crack into it. Let's grind it out. It's not just the fans who are excited about returning to Cat Park next year, though. In the press statement, Trivium frontman Matt Heafy, whose band will be topping Friday of Bloodstock next year, got sentimental about the importance of headlining a UK festival, particularly in 2025. The year will mark 2 decades since the Floridians' landmark download set. Their landmark download set was 2 decades ago. I have to check that out. I know that is a very active social media artist. So if you're interested in keeping up with and being in the know and knowing what's going on with your favorite artists, and are tired of not being in the know yourself, subscribe to my podcast and keep current with what I'm doing here and you won't sound like a dunce. Half an hour down the road, Donington Park, where they opened the main stage and established themselves as metal's bright new hopes. August 2025 will also be the 10th anniversary of the last time Trivium headlined Bloodstock, which was their first opportunity to headline a British festival. So that's 10 years. 10 years ago, the last time they were here then. Or they were there. And we've always said that the UK is a second home to Trivium. Explain that. It's where our band really took root way back in 2005, and our relationship with it has only grown deeper over time. He later added, "We promise you this will be the biggest and best Trivium set you have ever seen." But by August, diehard UK fans will likely have already seen Trivium in 2025. They're co-headlining a tour in January and February with Bullet for My Valentine. The Poison Ascendancy tour that I mentioned, that kind of seems like a bigger deal. It seems like a big deal, and the way I say this due to the hype behind it and what I'm seeing in the posts. And the hype behind it not just being in the posts, but the hype also being in the actual, like, standing there talking about it in a formal announcement and formal interviews with feedback from an audience. So that's why I think that. But let's see what else that it says about Poison Ascendancy. It looks like it mentions something about it here, and that's what I was hoping for. The Poison Ascendancy tour mentioned in this paragraph reads as such. The bands will be playing their respective 05 fan favorite albums, being Ascendancy from Trivium and The Poison from Bullet for My Valentine, in full for their 20th anniversaries. That's the coolest concept to do a whole album for that are fan favorites. That concept to me just gets me. It scrapes my gullet. It just grimps my gullet. And in an exclusive interview with Hammer, Matt promises that the Ascendancy celebrations will continue at Bloodstock, with the album again being performed from front to back. We've discussed adding in the special edition original songs as well, he teases. Referencing Ascendancy's bonus tracks, Blinding Tears Will Break the Skies and Washing Away Me in the Tides. Those two tracks I seem to not be familiar with on this bonus edition of Ascendancy. I must find them. I must find them immediately. When it comes to, whether or not the band will have new music out by August, however, the frontman is a bit more coy. While I always give all info and everything to the world, the one card I play close to the chest is always new material, he says. So let's just say we'll see. This photo with caption of Lemmy's ashes-filled bust. All hail Lemmy's ashes in this mold of Lemmy. Sick. It's fucking super killer of like a battle vest. He looks like a machine. Hair hanging down to the shoulders. All hail Lemmy. For certain. As the UK metal legends Motorhead have this depiction of, this must be in Derbyshire. Or maybe they just carry it around with them everywhere the Bloodstock goes. I don't know. But like Trivium, Saturdays, excuse me, whoa, I stuttered there for a second. Like Trivium, oh, I'm trying to kill a mosquito. I got it. I gotta kill the mosquito. Whew. Thank God I killed the mosquito. I feel so much better that I killed the mosquito. Like Trivium, Saturday headliners. Let me start over. Let me start over the right way here. Like Trivium, Saturday headliners Machine Head have an emotional attachment to Cat and Parker's Bloodstock 2022 that Oakland's finest. It's Machine Head now. Oakland's finest ended an 8-year hiatus from playing metal festivals, returning as a surprise act on the Sophie Lancaster stage. Following the appearance in an interview with Bloodstock TV, frontman Rob Flynn attributed the dry spell to burnout and not feeling that connection with the audience anymore, he says. The Sophie set, though, evidently brought it back. Bloodstock will forever hold a special place in our blackened hearts after our now legendary, not-so-secret show on the Sophie Lancaster stage back in 2022, said Rob, when Machine Head were announced for next year. That show, which marked our return to the live arena post-pandemic, was one of the hottest, wildest, and most intense shows we have ever played on UK shores. We now want to recreate that magic again and take it even higher in August 2025. Gojira, who will cap off, gotta cover Gojira as this article draws to a close and move on to the next. Gojira, who cap off Bloodstock on the Sunday, are also poised for a grand return. The Frenchmen last played there in 2018, headlining alongside the esteemed Nightwish and Judas Priest. Now Gojira aren't just bona fide arena stars, they're a mainstream sensation following their fiery performance of Gojira. I said it again. It's Sa. I messed it up last time I was talking about this. Gojira at the Paris 2024 Olympics opening ceremony this summer. Upon being announced for Bloodstock, singer-guitarist Joe Duplantiers' statement was short yet promising. "We're psyched to play Bloodstock again next year," he declared. "Hold on to your socks, it's gonna be brutal." With more than 100 bands for 2025 still yet to be announced, it's a safe bet that next year's incarnation will be one of the most stacked bills the festival has ever offered. And there you have it, friends. Bloodstock 2024 and all of its grandeur being the best opener for this episode here. As I do not know why how I can possibly have an issue coming out of my shell or stepping out of my comfort zone, but maybe I'm not gonna have that problem after reading this here article about Buried Tomorrow, where reading about the other artists and stuff that it kind of forced me to jump out of my comfort zone. Turns out to be pretty good. Let's hope this one is too. Buried Tomorrow's frontman Danny Winter Bates answers your questions on extraterrestrials, reincarnation, and good dogs. So this interview will be opened with the following paragraph. Buried Tomorrow are on an exciting trajectory. Following their 2023 album, The Seventh Son, and recent single, Villain Arc, Southampton's metalcore veterans stand poised to enter possibly their heaviest era ever after almost 2 decades in the game. What better time to get vocalist Danny Winter Bates to answer your questions? We have emails, Facebook, Instagram, email, Twitter/X. We're still calling it Twitter/X. Might be a while before it's just X, but it should just be X by now. I think it's been a couple years now that it's switched from Twitter to X, but whatever. Enough side banter. Each of these people ask them the questions through these via those formats, via email, via Facebook, via Instagram, via Twitter. And then they answer. But the caption and the photograph of these 6 fine young South Hampshire gentlemen of being almost 20 years in the game of metalcore has facial expressions of being content with their ascent. That's where I brush through now what those questions and answers were. Would you rather be reincarnated as an alligator or a meerkat? He said, alligator, definitely. They've been around forever, haven't they? They're pretty hardy. It kind of makes me feel like it's a parallel to my career, and I do love alligators and crocodiles. I once fed the largest alligator in Currumbin Wildlife Sanctuary on the Gold Coast in Australia. He was called Boss Hog, and he was an absolute monster. Fun fact about alligators, gonna be Googled by the millions and trillions after reading that. Over the years, you've refused to do VIP meets and greets. How easy, viable is it being in band nowadays where the method of financing, touring, and generally staying alive is ruled out? Post-COVID, he wasn't as sharp as he is, he says. If Barry Tomorrow's bassist and Danny's brother Dave ever quit the band, would you carry on without him? He couldn't imagine doing so, he says. Who in the band was the worst or most embarrassing tattoo, and who has the most impressive one? I like tattoos. His entire shin has most of his arm, and most of his arm was done in someone's bedroom. Sounds like most of mine too. What's the craziest show you ever played? Aaron D Music from Twitter.x/x says. Eastern European, like Poland, where people are smashing through windows. Sounds about right. I want to be there. If you were gonna take this seeing in Southampton, where would we go? It's a magic place where there's wild ponies and boars and new forests. Well, it was like wearing a wig. Yeah, they paid him a lot to wear a wig. And next up, so that's the article about Barry Tomorrow. And a conversation and chat with Danny Winter. Reading the next article here. Oh, the questions go on. They continue. So I can choose one that I would like from this, and this will be mental health and how you keep on. By one, I mean two. Mental health and how you keep up on it, and aliens and what they look like. So the mental health thing, he says that he understands his trigger points, ups and downs, mindfulness, the concept of mindfulness, the practice of mindfulness really helps, and being okay with the speck of dust that we are in the universe. That resonates with me on a massive scale, friends. And with that, I must take a short breath without pausing it. I'm gonna do it on camera. Here we go. Inhale the metal, exhale the bullshit. He's got OCD, cyclical OCD, and feeling small. Understanding how small that you feel, very much identify with. That resonates with me, and I identify with it. Really good to hear that from some other successful people, as I'm just a little overloaded at the moment with doing this episode in approaching 1 hour in. So closing up the article here, what aliens look like, I have to read the whole thing. I do think it's funny. The arrogance of humans that believe every organism out there would represent us, carbon-based biped, 2 eyes at the front. What if we got it wrong about ghosts? What if poltergeists are just space beings and all these weird things that happen are actually because we can't fathom it? And we can't see them because they live in another plane. Yeah, I don't know, that's some cool UFO extraterrestrial skeptic shit for your asses. And this advertisement being Blood Incantation. The new album, Absolute Elsewhere. Rosetta Stone of extreme music. Kimi and the J-metal scene is up next after this word from the sponsor. We're back to cover Kimi's Bridear's vocalist. Kimi, the artist of Bridear, she's the vocalist, shares her love for J-metal, Melodeath, video game soundtracks, and Metallica. Sex Machines are great Japanese machine guns. Sex Machine Guns are a great Japanese group and the band that introduced me to heavy metal. German Power has an absolutely epic reputation live. It's essentially a classic. That thrash metal song she's referring to is a Japanese style that has an intro with crowd participation that gets everyone ready. And when she wants to be a live band that can live up to this standard, she follows that a paragraph up with Master of Puppets being not only the introduction to Metallica, but the metal world outside Japan. So thrash metal and speed metal are the basis of her love for metal. When she was a student, Halloween was her favorite band. What really made an impression was a stupid video. It was fun and goofy and made the young Andy look cute. Picture a young Japanese girl watching these Germans have fun and produce epic metal in different language. It really made an impact. She spent hours next to her brother while playing the video game Romancing Saga. So it just seeped into her brain. The battle scores, especially Battle 2, contain a lot of elements used in Japanese heavy metal. So it immediately connected to the music that she was listening to from the album Born Again. There's a piece that is strongly influenced by the type of game music that Kenji Ito does. He is now at the core of music, of her music. She speaks on discovering In Flames, another J-metal band named Another Stream, and the singer-songwriter Tsukiko Amano being her biggest influence. The rhythm and sound of the lyrics stand out to her and make her focus on that with that artist. You can see half her face, and then the relationship between the sound and the notes, the melody line, and the meanings of the message being conveyed as well as her use of metaphors and implied meanings she considers to be skillful. And after listening to this song, I began to look into things like wordplay and imitation, she says. X-Japan are the pride of Japan's heavy metal. And Visual K, a subculture, Kai, a subculture encompassing artists who wear extravagant outfits. Evidently, Kurune being one of the most popular songs in Japan, that she can't imagine a kid never picking up a guitar, electric guitar, and playing. When she listened to Galnerius's Beyond the End of Despair, an album, she listened to that album a lot, and she calls Kusa metal something that she would use to describe the song "Shriek of the Vengeance" from Galnerius. With melancholy melodies, fantasy worldview, and that dramatic, almost somatic composition style, the first note of introduction immediately lifts her spirits to a higher level. And that's Kimi, the vocalist of the J-metal band Bridear. So the next up here we have Opeth, the prog metal masters, make a much anticipated return to extreme metal and concepts, as they're known for making concept albums. They're excited to get back in the studio again, and all fans of Opeth are definitely super stoked about hearing that. I have had the chance to hear the new track with some sort of currency sign, possibly. I'm not sure what it means, but the number one follows that symbol. And the facts of the album are I guess it's called 14, and the studio is in Wales, and the producer, it's self-produced, a self-produced album in Wales called 14. Expect some cosmic freak out prog cut with gorgeously intricate, brutal, extreme metal and jazz flutes. You need to have a certain setting for each album and different type of style. What you can know to expect from Opeth is where I would find myself the album. I'd find myself a copy of the album, digital, or get a Walkman. Purchase a Walkman, portable CD player, and throw that bitch in there and fucking go for a spin around the city. That's what the fuck I would do, goddammit. Since their first earliest days, Opeth have strived to be more than just another Swedish death metal band. Ditching their death metal roots after 08's Watershed, the band continued to thrive as prog metal masters, headlining festivals around the world and setting up shop at illustrious venues like Wembley Arena and Red Rocks Amphitheater. But after 16 years, the Swedes are going back to their roots. New single, that paragraph 1. That symbol is not a currency symbol. It is evidently it's a paragraph symbol. That's how you would symbolize paragraph. That's paragraph 1, for those who don't speak squiggle. Brings the death metal vocals back in a big way, teeing up at a triumphant return to extremity on new album The Last Will and Testament. Vocalist Michael Akerfeld tells Metal Hammer how it feels to be back. This interview with Michael Akerfeld, I can simply try to do my best on bringing some sort of satisfaction. But the album is not 14, it's Last Will and Testament. Full disclosure, we squealed like little kids when we heard those death metal vocals kick in. The reaction I was hoping for. But ultimately it's just something we have done in the past on records. I don't think I've ever said, we won't play death metal again, but I guess it looked unlikely for some. It's part of my instrument though, you know? We figured those vocals would really work as part of this big concept, giving the character a voice. So it's also the first Opeth concept record in 25 years. Yeah, I do find some of that stuff contrived at times. At points, Blackwater Park was a concept record, and Ghost Reveries had parts that weren't supposed to be a concept record, but I ended up hooking them together with certain lyrics. What is a concept? It takes place in the 1920s, around that time. A father dies, and he's a very conservative, stern old bastard who's built a fortune. He has 3 children, 2 of which are twins. A man and woman who've now grown up, and another who's a young girl who has this skeletal type disfigurement like polio. They're all summoned to attend the reading of their father's will, where they learn secrets about their lives and themselves, and ultimately who's going to get the inheritance. It's based on old ideals where society isn't progressed as much as it is today, and it was fun to write those kind of lyrics. The album's title is The Last Will and Testament. That's a bit ominous. Well, you never know. This could be our last album. I like to work under that kind of idea that anything might be your last, but that way you're on edge and always trying to do the very best. Somebody might quit or anything could happen. That wasn't the intention with this though. It's more to do with the concept. The album is literally the last will and testament of this character. Your last project was the instrumental soundtrack for the Netflix series Clark, set in the 60s and 70s. Did that affect how you approached this album? I'm actually working on another thing. With Clark, I didn't know what would end up in the series, so I just kept writing. Even if I had a great piece, they could use only part of it and scrap the rest. So it meant I learned to write fast and make quick decisions. I'd go to bed thinking I'd written shit music, but get up the next day going, hey, this isn't bad. What was it like working with Jethro Tull's Ian Anderson? Ooh. Ian came on board to do narrations for us. That's what I'd initially asked him to do. It was actually him approaching us like, but did you want some flute? We didn't really have a part for a flute solo, but decided before he changed his mind, we'd make one. He's an amazing individual. Last but finally, so it's a concept album, and the guy literally knows from experience how to really write a concept album, helping fuel and feed my own concept album trilogy that I'm working on while I'm doing these other little side projects, of course, and marketing and promoting them. It's helping me discover that you think that you're writing shit lyrics and then you wake up saying it sounds pretty good, but I don't even think that much about my own lyrics. And so I have some take and some piece to add to all of everything he's saying, as well as the thing with Jethro Tull adding some flute and not having written a concept album in 25 years, and they haven't written a concept album in 25 years. And they did the instrumental soundtrack for Clark on Netflix, a show set in the 60s and 70s. The last question is, in your time away from death metal, does it feel like the genre has changed a lot? I'd ask you that question, to be honest. We were never really a pure death metal band, but that's the kind of death metal I like. Morbid Angel, Autopsy, stuff like that. Ironically, I'm not really into prog death metal. I want my death metal to be intricate, technical, but also a bit sloppy. And all I can really reference to the sound of that is the tones and guitars and the resonance, or sustain, rather, the sustain of a chord, where they have chords that go jump up and scale, and then that kind of thing is what I'm thinking he might be referring to. And this covers Opeth, followed by Powerwolf in this issue. See, Powerwolf's very mainstream, and they're actually power metal. Someone was referring to them recently in a podcast, saying that they're actually one of the most, like, they're the authority in power metal, along with like Beast in Black and Beyond the Black, and power metal being the authority in all metal. Or maybe that's what it was referred to. I might actually be mistaken. I'm not too certain. With the following Metal Blade Records ad featuring the new Black Dahlia murder. And not adding a bunch of bullshit and garbage and jargon like the other ones. Like what this album, all the compliments that the album got and all this stuff. And then Servitude by Black Dahlia Murder, released by Metal Blade Records. Metal Blade Records. Metal Blade Records, the classic and authority, the classic authority of extreme metal. Lacuna Coil has a story behind our truth, they say. Kamali's and Ozfest helped introduce Lacuna Coil to the world, but the lead singer from 06's Karma Code would see them embrace the global influence. Lacuna Coil influenced by Sisters of Mercy as much as Typo Negative. And this being released in 06 with Christina Scabia on vocals, Andrea Furrow also on vocals. But goddamn, I gotta check out that album and get back in the groove. I feel so out of the groove, out of touch, and out of sight. It's 05, and on a freezing cold December night in the Hollywood Hills, Lacuna Coil vocalist Christina Scabia can hear the sound of howling in the distance. She's there to film one of 4 music videos for the Italian gothic metal band's 4th record. Karma Code and the production crew have warned them not to venture too far from the set in the dark, as there are mountain lions and coyotes in the hills. Today's shoot is For Our Truth, which was set to be in the album's lead single, and will become a mainstay of their live sets for the next 20 years. Fake snow floats around the singer like confetti as she artfully twists a Japanese-style parasol, a nod to the song's use of the traditional shamisen in its iconic intro. Destined for heavy rotation on MTV's Headbangers Ball, Our Truth was the first super professional music video the band ever made, according to Christina. We became way more popular in Europe after 2002's album Kamali's, and everywhere else as a consequence of that. Reminisces vocalist and founding member Andrea Ferrero about that period. The band really took off and became a much bigger entity than it was before. Lacuna Coil's third album, Kamali's, had indeed helped them go truly international. It broke into the US Billboard 200 at number 178. Getting into the top 10 of both the independent and Heat Seekers album charts in the country. Extensive radio play of a single, Heaven's a Lie, helped widen their appeal further. And they were ultimately invited to join the lineup at Ozfest 04. Chosen to perform on the tour's second stage among the male-dominated lineup with Lamb of God, Slipknot, and Hatebreed. The bands took turns playing different slots each night, giving Lacuna Coil the chance to get top billing in front of a whole new audience. I remember that we got extra attention, uses Christina. We were completely different compared to the other bands because we weren't Americans. We were bringing the European touch. After Ozfest, we came back to Europe with a different level of attention on us and a different kind of pressure. Everybody wanted us. Everybody was curious about our next move. And of course, we had the pressure of the next election. Our Truth was, in a way, the band's direct response to that pressure at a time when they could easily have lost their way amid the surge in popularity and demand. They dug their heels in and made a statement that they would keep their integrity intact. Lyrically, it was our way of saying, we don't care what people want us to do, says Christina. We want to be ourselves, because you know how it is. As soon as you're kind of popular, everybody wants to help you, to work with you, and give you advice. But I remember that back then, maybe with a hint of ingenuity, we said. Ingenuity, like falsehood or something. We said no. Which can be good and bad, she admits. We wanted to make sure that we'd be genuine and do exactly what we wanted to. We probably made some mistakes along the way, but we made them because we decided to. Andrea echoes Christina's analysis of the song. It's also a personal song about relationships, about the passing of time and the fact that we were away from people for a long time, he adds. You start to have complications with people from home that don't understand what you do, because it's hard to understand, obviously. So it was a mix of the two themes. Despite their desire to push away the pressure, as Andrea puts it. The band knew that a follow-up to Kamali's had to be special if they were to match its success. They approached recording Karma Code with a markedly bigger budget to use the use of a real string orchestra and the opportunity to exert even more control over their output as co-producers. Otherwise, though, they worked much as they had previously. Bassist Marco Zalati and guitarist Marco Mouse Biazzi and Cristiano Pizza Miglio wrote the music with Christina and Andrea coming up with the vocal melodies and lyrics. Musically, Our Truth puts Asian and Middle Eastern melodies front and center. Christina's vocal running up and down the Phrygian dominant scale. The band also employed a delicately plucked Japanese shamisen introduction, adding a global twist to their usual gothic influences. Oh, light cut out on me, but you can still see me, so it's good for now. We're really stable with our taste, says Christina. Type O Negative will always be in the Olympus, and we'll always love Paradise Lost. We also always liked Arabic-style melodies and improvised that vocal, clarifies Andrea. We love the song Temple of Love by Sisters of Mercy with Israeli singer Ofra Haza, which is that typically Middle Eastern melody. That's where our inspiration came from. The pair also acknowledged that Italy has always been, or had rather, special cultural ties with the Arab world. Italy has always been a land of passage and domination due to its position in the Mediterranean Sea. Andrea explains with an academic air. It's the south of Italy, especially Naples. The traditional music has a lot of that influence because of past domination going back centuries. Also, you have to think that Sicily and the south of Italy are very close to Turkey and North Africa. The main religion of the south was Islam for a long time, so there has always been that influence of Italian music. It's kind of in our DNA. It just happened, agrees Christina. It was incidental, and we liked it, so we kept it in. Everything that comes out because we like the sound and it fills our hearts. What Lacuna Coil mainly wanted to achieve with this vocal melody was something that fans could grab onto in a live setting. It immediately reminded us of a stadium chorus, something that everybody could sing along together, which is something we enjoy a lot, explains Christina. Our shows are very, very connected to the crowds. We don't like separation. This is where our truth really comes alive on stage. Karma Code was also the first album the band recorded in their home city of Milan, instead of at longtime producer and friend Waldemar Sorichka's Woodhouse Studios in Germany. But the real pinch me moment came when they traveled to Galaxy Studios in Mol, Belgium, to mix the album with Grammy-nominated engineer Ronald Prent. The band spent a month in Belgium along all the trappings of rock stardom they had previously only dreamed of. Private chefs, football fields, helipads, and massively sophisticated equipment. Fucking old photo of Christina here, it looks like. I love these old photos that these guys grab. And we'll be definitely seeing plenty of those as we chomp and champ our way on over to Slipknot, the band on the cover of this issue, and that is, well, it looks like that was supposed to be the conclusion, but that was actually an arrow pointing to another page, so we actually have another page. It was a completely different environment for us, recalls Andrea, being from Italy and then doing this recording at the hometown and then going to Belgium. She's referring to, in case I lost you by that little side banter. Faith No More used to record in that studio. Rammstein. Bruce Dickinson recorded vocals from Iron Maiden there. It was something big. You could tell from all the gold records on the wall. It was like we'd been transported to a different dimension. The lead singer for Karma Code, Our Truth, first popped up on the soundtrack for the appropriately gothy Werewolf vs. Vampire sequel, Underworld Evolution, in January 2006, before being released a month later. The track was also Lacuna Coil's first to chart in multiple territories, breaking into the top 40 in the UK, the US Billboard Hot Mainstream Rock Tracks, and at home in Italy, where it peaked at number 23. Given the more mounting excitement over the band, it wasn't exactly a surprise, but to Christina, it cemented that they were on the right track. Yeah, look at this old photo of Christina. This is sick. Christina's vocal melody reminded the band of a sing-along stadium chorus. You know, the backdrop, these old bookshelf, some crazy-looking, wonky cross-looking thing, and it's a band. Her nails, long boots, got a hat on her lap, or she's wearing a skirt. And the look on her face of, I am in this moment, I'm in this present moment right now, and you have captured a photograph of me that will echo throughout the waves in the ocean of time. Sorry, I don't know what overcame me. Her beauty just simply has me being inspired with the getting back on track here. Another thing that she says, I think that we not established ourselves, that we would be a little pretentious, she muses. But we were happy, the fans were happy, and we determined once again that Lacuna Coil were active and delivering what we promised. What success was hard won. The band admit they knew something special was about to happen on our truth. A week before it came out, they leaked a fake file for the song online that contained only 4 minutes of white noise as a litmus test. In just a week, they had 3 million downloads, a staple of their set list since its release. The song has become one of the band's most iconic anthems. Obviously, it's more fun to play its newer song because it's fresher, concedes Andrea. But that one is always fun because people have been waiting for it. It's a matter of respecting the crowd. Not everybody is a hardcore fan, so it's good to have songs that everybody knows, you know? But when they sing along, it's fun for us. Even if we're playing it for the millionth time, it's a happy moment. Lacuna Coil's latest single, In the Meantime, is out now via Century Media Records. The off-brand of Metal Blade Records, so to speak, but not really. I like Century Media better anyway. Their UK tour starts in Belfast on October 15th, and they play Bloodstock in 2025. Wow, what a set list that festival will be. In running through this really old photo here too, as I just simply cannot get enough of her. She is scrum-diddly-umptious. She's scrumptious. And those, I can't see her nails though, but her nails probably painted black, and those black clothings, and those sunglasses, minimal makeup. And in all actuality, the real professionalism of what I aim to convey here on the show. She's expressing a lot of the things that she it could be considered gratitude, and that she wants you to know accurately what the intentions were on releasing the singles, and for being out of place and out of the comfort zone recording in Belgium, being from Italy, that she's happy that she did that, and expressed that it improved the sound. We've got some more jumping out of my comfort zone moments that I'm just gonna pass on through. I mean, he's wearing a Cannibal Corpse t-shirt, so Eric and Steve friends with talented friends, and embrace the power of positive thinking. Fever 333, former members of Fever 333. This is a good jumping out of the comfort zone. They don't tell me what kind of music it even is. I don't know. It's kind of the format or the basis of these episodes, these types of episodes of the show that I want to aim toward with such a large amount of information to go through, being that the issues are always 108 pages. 108. But it does say in here, in short, sounds like a genuinely thrilling explosion of ideas from alternative metal veterans who want everyone to come along for the feels. For fans of Smashing Pumpkins, Refused, The Prodigy, listen to It's Supposed to Hurt. You feel violent bursts of energy because you're happy. So this is another Finnish metal band with an in short caption of what it sounds like for fans of and listen to. It sounds like a spaceship loaded full of guitar royalties soloing in the booming grandiosity of outer space. For fans of Children of Bodom, Amorphous, Dream Theater, listen to If You Dare. Finnish metal supergroup Crown Shift of a mellow death style. Looks like we have some bundles here to go through. Definitely don't want to pass over these. Now, the sponsor for this part of the sponsorship and this part of the episode will be the subscriptions aspect of this magazine that you can subscribe today to save 50% by going to magazinesdirect.com/MHR/D35R. That is your promo code to get 50% off. If you spend the time converting what 22.71 euros is, pounds, 22.71 pounds into dollars, you crash, smash, gash, bash your way through the world like a new man with this magazine, guiding your way through the deepest pits of hell. Let's check out the merch. Horde Almighty, box sets, underground oddities, and all the essential merch you need this month. Alt Black Era, Rave Immortal, completest bundle from Earache Records. Nightwish Yesterwind bundle, coming with that issue that I covered the last time I covered this magazine. Floors on the fucking cover, looking like she is ready to just like belt out some supremely essential orchestral style vocals and point your soul in the direction of a healing herb garden. Excuse me. For 30.99 pounds, that's probably like $45 or something. And the Judas Priest whiskey. Oh, Merlin's beard. Oh, Gumbling Geese. I gotta freaking see all the deets on this. This is a single malt. Single malt. This single malt. Single malt. One bottle, 700 milliliters of whiskey. Oh, Merlin's beard. I gotta freaking magically transform my bottle of water into this. Get my freaking. I gotta sink my liver into some of that. But those Sepultura LPs, vinyls, box set, be a little bit more different thing that I would still dig having a 25th anniversary Sepultura Roots box set. Feel the grooves, bloody grooves on remastered vinyl. The Spot bonus 5-disc box set includes the demos, rub mixes, live sources, an embroidered patch, and a poster. Next page, I got the Hellraiser high tops with, of course, a picture of Hellraiser. Pinhead. He's Pinhead. On the shoes. On the chucks. So you can walk around in style. Some serious hell raising. Like literally every time you take a step, you are raising hell. Here at Hammer, we pride ourselves on always having such sights to show you. Take these demonically cool kicks. For example, they feature Pinhead with a black metal makeover. Jesus wept. And you wiped off those tears with these deliciously dated Hellraiser high tops for 44 pounds. As the Xenomorph pen holder featuring this alien from Aliens, literally has me wanting to jump out of my skin to find this. I just couldn't be happier knowing that this exists. Like, I'm so happy knowing that this exists. I don't even need it. I just need to know that it exists. And the Megadeth headphones with Eddie. Mastodon Leviathan bundle. 20 years of Leviathan. Covered it in full on episode 32 or 35. And Ozzy Osbourne coloring book. 72 pages of Odyssey's solo career. Sleep token jacket. It's like looks like a really casual fit. V-neck. And it's just like not too tight, slim. Horror movies word search. You got a horror hungry puzzle geek in your life, get them this for 14.20 pounds. I'm not sure what they would do with those extra 0.20 pounds, but maybe it feeds the butlers of the Queen or something. And they've got some hidden arg, fuck the absolute searing agony. I have been captured by a cult and they are skinning me alive. Hidden in this horror movies word search. This is badass. Like they literally have to be seriously commended for this. It's tiny URL, so it's third party. You're going through a third party to get this. I don't know who. It's just the complete horror movies word search, and then the actual name of the company that is making these is below there, but it's still pretty cool. And an Iron Maiden wine. Why not? You know, why not treat yourself to an extremely affordable bottle of wine with Iron Maiden on it that you honestly could really just keep this fucking thing for like 50 years. Spicy vanilla taste and mulberry. And last but not least was Wednesday Candle. Darkness made rain. Supreme in Wednesday's world, but if you must let some light in, use one of these cruelty-free candles. Each one includes an enamel badge, perfect for the label of your Nevermore Academy blazer. For $29.99 to 44.99 pounds. Get it. Get it. Get it. Got it. Good. That's enough merch. Let's head on down here to the fucking main shit. Just literally jump and dive right in after this word from sponsors. The Vault of Doom podcast is brought to you by the official Mickey GemInEye YouTube channel with some new videos out, like finger exercises and how to play guitar, featuring specific finger exercises on how to play a guitar, like string skipping and some scales, and there's even an arpeggio series where I feature some of my favorite riffs from a few of my favorite bands, featuring songs such as Ora Pro Nobis Lucifer from Behemoth, as that riff really melts my brain. Let's get back to the show. Badass original starting of Slipknot with their boiler suits. The boiler smock is a few names for this attire. A smock, boiler suit, jumpsuit, or if you want to get real crazy and shifty, just Slipknot's original attire. But here they are. Slip fucking knot. Slip fucking ip knot. Slip fucking at. We were nobodies. Anonymous and faceless. With no record out. But in that moment, it felt like maybe we had a shot. In early '99, no one outside of Des Moines, Iowa knew what Slipknot were. And then they released their debut 25 years on. Sean Clown Crahan, Jim Root, and Ross Robinson look back on the album that changed the world. Without the masks, all that insanity was fully visible.